Good morning, everyone. Going through the warehouse this morning, like, hey, it's Tinfoil Hat Tuesday. What do we got in here? And I found the most eye-opening 50 minutes of your life. I'm assuming someone sent us a link back when we were doing the natural law with Passio. Looks like Mark is a part of this presentation, taking maybe from the natural law seminar, which if you've been around, you had an opportunity. We checked that out. So I thought, let's start here. See where it takes us. Now, 50 minutes of eye-opening information that's going to affect my life might take 3 hours. Over here. Just a heads up. Who knows? Don't know what we're going to get. Don't know how many times it will resonate.
This is what the dark occultists do not want people to understand. This is how the universe actually works inherently. And it describes not only how it works, but our relationship to that process. And this is what they don't want you to know. That's the most deeply hidden information. This will get you real money. One eye, mon eye.
The next few minutes will completely change how you see the world. Mark Passio shares occult knowledge that makes me nervous to share, but it's so important that I'm willing to take the risk and share it with you.
The occult is knowledge. We're talking about knowledge here, hidden information. And it's knowledge that is held very tightly by a few people on Earth. It's not widely known. Sciences that people don't really understand, about how energy works in the universe. It's hidden knowledge that is hidden for a specific reason, and that's to create a power differential between...
Well, there you go. A minute is how far in I could get. I just saw a clip, Fred Durst, talking about 0-point energy with Bill Maher. I got to find that. We should check that out. I'm not mocking. That's not my thing. Too many... generators run to alternator type with hidden power source. Too many engineer grifts that I didn't get into it, but I find the whole thing interesting, and I'm pretty sure energy control is a huge part of the containment system that we're locked up in. But I thought it was very interesting that it was Fred Durst. Yeah, yeah. For the nookie and 0-point energy. I mean, I had no clue.
People who understand it and those who don't. The occult is a body of science which is not widely known to the general population, consisting of hidden knowledge about the workings of the human psyche and the laws of nature, both the seen laws, meaning the physical laws, the physical sciences, and the unseen laws, meaning the spiritual laws, the laws that govern morality, the laws that govern behavioral consequence.
There are two primary types of knowledge: the knowledge of oneself and the knowledge of the laws of nature. Understanding oneself involves exploring the human psyche, how it functions, what drives our behavior, and what happens beneath the surface at a subconscious level. This inner exploration is known as the minor knowledge, or minor arcana in the occult, referring to knowledge that relates specifically to the individual. Although it's called minor, this doesn't mean it's less important. It just focuses on a smaller scale, individual experiences, thoughts, emotions, and motivations. It deals with the internal aspects of a person, what happens in the mind and subconscious, and how these affect personal actions and desires. On the other hand, the major knowledge, or major arcana, refers to understanding larger external systems, how the universe operates on a grander scale. This includes the laws of nature, such as gravity, motion, and electromagnetism, as well as other physical forces that govern the natural world. These larger systems, or macrocosmic forces, affect everything in existence, from the behavior of galaxies to the smallest particles in the universe.
I didn't mean to make a face. I was thinking the macro, microcosm deal, right? And then, to be fair, the actual meaning behind as above, as below, kind of not the twisted um, moral relativism side of it, but the all things are the same, no matter, kind of. Well, no, don't. They're not, but similar patterns, and so on and so forth. Now, it would be fair, we did watch the whole Mark Passio natural law thing. So this is, so far, I think a good reminder of what we learned there.
Includes the laws of nature, such as gravity, motion, and electromagnetism, as well as other physical forces that govern the natural world. These larger systems, or macrocosmic forces, affect everything in existence, from the behavior of galaxies to the smallest particles in the universe. The major arcana, therefore, deals with understanding the external, universal laws that apply to all of reality. The greater arcana, or the broader knowledge about the universe, not only includes the physical laws of nature, but also what's called natural law. Natural law refers to the universal moral principles that determine the outcomes of the actions of conscious beings, those capable of complex thought and holistic intelligence. These moral laws govern how behavior leads to certain consequences, particularly for beings with a higher awareness, such as humans. In other words, these are the moral and spiritual laws that shape consciousness and the results of our actions. The combination of these two key areas, knowledge of the self, individual mind, and knowledge of natural law, universal principles, forms the foundation of all occult knowledge. If someone controls these bodies of knowledge and prevents others from exploring or understanding them, they gain the power to manipulate people easily. Without access to this...
To be fair, bold move. I saw it twice now. It turns out lots of individuals are triggered by that sun symbol, co-opted by, let's say, a military group back in the day, so they get triggered by it. But I did notice it twice, and I only noticed it because Danzig got in trouble putting it on some shirts and selling it at the merch booth, and there was backlash. And I saw Rockcast, or I don't know, what a good music news channel talked about it. That's the only reason I know. It's not my, we tend to focus on different symbolism. That one's, not up on my list of things I care about. But I didn't notice it twice. So I guess trigger warning to those who catch that kind of shit. I don't care because I'm pretty positive it's a sun symbol. And then we have put the groups who co-opted symbols on Front Street and said, oh, they're bad. But the symbols are just part of the toolkit, as always. They're not really, they're only as powerful as the intent behind driving it, right? The will, that was one of the arguments I had over at the natural law thing, is that Mark firmly believes, and rightfully so, but firmly believes that the order follower, the useful idiot, is at fault. And I sometimes think that it's the will. If you create systems with dependency on power, you're going to get those who, depend on power to enrich them, suck. But the will to create those systems, I feel, is unfortunately where we should be. We should be striking at the root, not the leaves. But that's where I depart from my teacher at that point. I'm pretty sure order followers are a problem. Right? Current events right now, you've got one side accusing the other side of treason because, hey, don't follow bad orders. But, I mean, that should go to all sides at all times. If it's an immoral order, then you should question it. The problem is, it seems like morality has been inverted at this point, where, inverted. Like good is bad, bad is good, up is down, down is up. Yeah, now twist it all around so you could reshape it in one's own image. And I think we're in the middle of that going on right now, for real.
Knowledge and prevents others from exploring or understanding them, they gain the power to manipulate people easily. Without access to this knowledge, individuals are left vulnerable, unaware of how their minds work or how the laws of the universe affect them. This lack of understanding puts people...
That's funny, actually, in a way. We decided to watch The Island because I always enjoy a good action film fueled by cocaine and, I'm guessing, cocaine. And Michael Bay and the Bruckheimer years, all that stuff. It really seems over the top. But they nail stuff all the time. And in The Island, they've got the whole, no one will buy a clone for parts if they are really torturing and abusing an exact copy of themselves. So they think they're, getting this flesh slug, unconscious, unknowing, just replacement parts. But really, it turns out that failed. The organs kept dying, right? There's just this little, it all is covered in a couple minutes of, probably 45 seconds of dialogue. But if educating them to like the level of a 15-year-old, giving them a backstory and certain hope, purpose, going to the island, that they survived. And there's lots of, right on this show, we talk about the rat utopia or mouse utopia and some of these systems created to experiment on what we need. And funny, but Michael Bay, cocaine and, action film really nailed the fact that we need purpose. Possibly we don't need everything our hearts desire, but we need some sort of purpose and knowledge and understanding of something. Thus, backstory and hope to go to the island. It's very interesting. It makes me think that we are kept in a state of confusion, most, because we were offered up ignorant bliss, chasing after the illusion of choice. Well, I could have one of 15 different flavors of sugar water. My life is good. Really? Is that how you defend good? I would argue that, good was the tagline from Campbell's and that secret undercover video site that showed us what they think of their product. Hey, as long as we can hide slop in there and get the pores to consume it, we can keep buying ivory back scratchers. Good. Sorry, that one just makes me crazy. I can't believe people are just hip with giving each other what. Hey, as long as it enriches me, F you. Holy shit. After 4 years of doing this, I can honestly admit the whole point is to say something witty maybe once a week. And that's the reward. Chasing after anything else would be ugly. If something came from it, cool. But why would you chase after that? Oh, because all you care about is enriching oneself, not anything of value, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to have fun.
Bodies of knowledge and knowledge of natural law, universal principles, forms the foundation of all occult knowledge. If someone controls these bodies of knowledge and prevents others from exploring or understanding them, they gain the power to manipulate people easily. Without access to this knowledge, individuals are left vulnerable, unaware of how their minds work or how the laws of the universe affect them. This lack of understanding puts people at a serious disadvantage, making them easier to control and influence from the very start.
The two states that dark occultism wants to hold the overall population in is what I call the mental schism and the worldview schism. Okay, they want to hold people in a state.
Did you catch that? So this is not the Natural Law Seminar. That's his Demystifying the Occult series. Part 1 of 3 we see there. So at least we know. Cool. Something the channel hadn't seen. You know, Mark is Mark, man. Without him, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I know I have never done him proud, but he inspired the entire backstory on the channel, right? Reactions is just a way to talk about this shit. And then look at the first 2 years, man. We just catch hell asking how come there's got to be all these occult symbols and toolkit items. You know, how come there's this upside down cross and whores everywhere? What are they trying to tell me? With a certain messaging, I can do whatever I want and enjoy life. Me, serve self. Right? Well, if it wasn't for Passio, I wouldn't engage in that. I would just be like, hey, check all this band. Support my Patreon. Pay me. The paycheck's the least important part. I've heard Passio tell me that 1,000 times. I've always thought money was a byproduct of a job well done, not the essential reason to be there.
Individuals are left vulnerable, unaware of how their minds work or how the laws of the universe affect them. This lack of understanding puts people at a serious disadvantage, making them easier to control and influence from the very start.
The two states that dark occultism wants to hold the overall population in is what I call the mental schism and the worldview schism. Okay, they want to hold people in a state of chronic, imbalanced thought. And then they want to hold people in a chronically imbalanced overall worldview regarding human nature and life in general. If they can keep people in those modes of consciousness, they can keep their control over their behavior because they have control over their mind as a result. In general, how it works is keeping people chronically imbalanced toward one type of consciousness or another, one type of brain activity or another, either the masculine left brain modality of consciousness or the feminine right brain modality of consciousness, but never actually holistically bringing them both together in a state of balance. They want it in a chronic state of imbalance, such that most people are either always left brain or always right brain.
When the left side of the brain...
I admit, I'm sure I'm trapped in this, and I will... I'll own the fact that taking care of my aging and deteriorating father is reconciling. Some of the caregiving and compassion side of my existence is coming to the surface. It's there. It's just been stifled. It's just been, I had to be, put your back into it. I really stayed focused on, that side of my existence. And there is an awakening when you feel the need to care for something you didn't know you were going to care for in the way you care for it. It's very surprising to me. The amount of sacrifice you're willing to engage in for what you believe is right or what is correct. I'm pretty sure taking care of your own is correct. So That it's an opinion, all opinions, for entertainment purposes only, as always.
Either always left brain or always right brain.
When the left side of the brain, focused on logic and masculine energy, becomes too dominant, it can lead to harmful beliefs. People may become overly skeptical, believing that only science is valid, or adopt atheism, thinking humans are the highest authority with no higher power. They may also reject the idea of objective truth, claiming everything is just opinion, or believe in social Darwinism, where smarter or stronger people are.
Oh yeah, hold on. Of course, now from this moment here, from what's being explained, I obviously have a grasp. Some of this, definitely not trapped in its like explaining here. I believe I was trapped with a wall around the compassionate, caring side. Care, maybe it was love I was struggling with, and care I had. I don't know, but I do feel there's a balancing and a growth taking place as I take care of my dad, and it's a big thing for me. Because trust me, I didn't just put it on there. Every now and then I like to, my description would be just a guy sitting on the edge of it all, watching it burn. I mean, didn't care. I care. I do.
They may also reject the idea of objective truth, claiming everything is just opinion, or believe in social Darwinism, where smarter or stronger people are meant to rule over others. Moral relativism follows, where right and wrong are seen as things humans can just make up. This imbalance can lead to dangerous ideas like eugenics, where people try to control who gets to reproduce based on genetics, or authority.
Hey, and you can win a trip to the island. No, replacement. That is actually was such a good thing to start watching last night. To help here, because you would need a lot of moral relativism to create. And then I've been asking this question at work. What? Just because it's technology, everybody's really gonna embrace the need for a robot slave? Is it possible that people are engaged in too much and don't spend enough time taking care of the things that would give them purpose in the first place? I know my coworker was like, hell yeah, I want to do nothing. So if your robot slave can do your job, what do we need you for? Why don't they ever think about that? Why do they think that why do people think the entire existence revolves around them being happy and not someone controlling them and using them? More people need to wake up to the occulted knowledge and the control system that's around us everywhere. Because they are more than happy to follow their enslavers down the same path of wanting forced servitude from something. They'll be happy if it's a machine. They don't care as long as something's doing their work for them. That should be scary to people. It should. If the robot can replace you in your own home, you don't need you or your home. Because there's for sure no way this existence is just to make us all happy. No way.
Follows, where right and wrong are seen as things humans can just make up. This imbalance can lead to dangerous ideas like eugenics, where people try to control who gets to reproduce based on genetics, or authoritarianism, where some are seen as rulers and others as followers.
A right brain imbalance or feminine imbalance, the right hemisphere of the brain, which governs creativity, intuition, compassion, nurturing, etc. If that part of the brain that is depicted here by the symbol, the inverted equilateral triangle, which again is an ancient archetypal symbol known as the chalice, because it is a rudimentary womb. If that part of the brain is chronically imbalanced, or chronically dominant, I should say, these following states result: naivete, blind belief, religious extremism, total belief, total faith, not actually checking anything, not looking into things for oneself, taking other people's word on it. Solipsism, again, the belief that there's no such thing as truth. Both forms of mental imbalance can create that state. Moral relativism, you see so much moral relativism in the New Age movement. You think moral relativism is the exclusive domain of left brain imbalance, think again, because people in the New Age movement are super right brain imbalanced in many cases. And
self, this channel says it this way: if self is your whole focus, you are serving powers you don't understand. It is not all self-centered. Whatever feels good, I'm gonna do. It's not the right choice.
You'll hear many of them saying there's no such thing as right and wrong. Those are religious concepts. I don't believe in those. Feelings of unworthiness, feelings of self-loathing.
Now, if anybody remembers, it's consequences. We learned this in the natural law seminar. Those who wish to serve self tend to never weigh the morality or the consequences of the actions. They just weigh the sensation in their crotch area or their brain or wherever the hell they're getting their sensation from banging their dope. As an ex-junkie, I don't mean to be mean, but when I was a junkie, I was a junkie. When I gave it up, I wasn't. There's no in-between space in that. There was negative consequences over there, positive, well, not, I guess you could look at it that way. Positive repercussions. With rejecting it.
And you'll hear many of them saying there's no such thing as right and wrong. Those are religious concepts. I don't believe in those. Feelings of unworthiness, feelings of self-loathing, falling into patterns of following other people's orders. Because, hey, if you're naive, if you blindly believe, and you don't really believe there's such a thing as absolute objective truth, then I'm going to take somebody else's word for it. If they say this is what's right to do, then I'm just going to go along, follow their orders. So many people are in that extremely imbalanced, dangerous state of mind. And I call this imbalanced thought slave think in general.
All opinions for entertainment purposes only is to reinforce the idea that I don't know nothing. Got all kinds of opinions, but until I figure it out for my own, they're just opinions. If they work and you can apply it, fine. But I am nobody's thought leader and do not intend to be. Just a sign pointing in a direction. Nothing more.
That's what they want. They want these two states. They just want them operating all over society. They don't want anybody in a state of balance bridging these two modalities of consciousness and bringing them together. They want people in one state of imbalance or the other so that those dynamics, master think and slave think, continually play off against each other. We're talking about what their goal is. What are they trying to constantly maintain in humanity? And they're doing a very effective job of it. They are successful because they operate on the same page for the same goal, like one huge mind. They call it a master mind. They focus their energy on that intent, they carry it out in the world through their methodologies. They get it done. That's why we're so scattered. We can't come together with that same mastermind focus, that coming together and operating on the same page because we share collective common knowledge. That's what they're doing. They have this knowledge and they use it for dark purposes, all on the same page, all focused, all together for the same goal. These two things are their goal, the mental schism and the worldview schism. The worldview schism is this notion that the world is either completely random or completely determined. They want these two schisms of worldview present because they don't want people to understand the balance that is the actual truth, that there is components within nature of both of these views of reality, but they operate in conjunction with each other, not in a state of imbalance.
The randomness worldview sees the universe as a complete accident, with no purpose or meaning behind anything that happens. In this view, there is no creator or guiding intelligence, and everything in nature is seen as lifeless and random.
We'll go back. I think I saw, I believe, didn't the simulation theory, I saw announced, I don't know if it's true or not. All opinions for entertainment purposes only, but I thought I saw some quantum science basically reaffirm that whatever it is, it's not a simulation. The simulation, it appears reality. Now, is our focus on reality what makes reality reality? I don't know. I'm not sure about that yet. I don't know nothing about that, but I hear quantum science is at least knocking out the simulation theory. That it is as much as it's depressing for those who don't enjoy living it, it turns out it's real. It's a bummer. Because first of all, why would anybody write all that pain into the code? It's not even a fun game to play. Now, it could be a cruel experiment, so, fair enough. But I like that idea. I just don't buy into it. I'm something greater than myself guy.
Or meaning behind anything that happens. In this view, there is no creator or guiding intelligence, and everything in nature is seen as lifeless and random. People who believe this think there are no spiritual or moral laws, and that concepts like right and wrong don't really matter, because nothing has a deeper purpose. Life is just about surviving, with no greater meaning beyond.
Now, I would say I had that fractals. The time I spent learning about fractals in math and nature, combination is just too easy to observe once you figure out what you're supposed to be looking at. And certainly can't just be nothing. Nothing gets it that right. I don't buy that. The Pond Scum set. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of the fish frog people. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course you could believe that. Why can't you? I get to believe in my sky daddy. You get to believe in your fish frogs. Cool.
Concepts like right and wrong don't really matter, because nothing has a deeper purpose. Life is just about surviving, with no greater meaning beyond that. This way of thinking is often connected to extreme skepticism, atheism, and societies that ignore moral principles. On the other side, the deterministic worldview says that everything is already decided, and that humans don't have free will. In this view, a higher power controls everything, and our choices are just illusions. People who believe this might think that they aren't responsible for their actions, because everything is predetermined. This belief can lead to people excusing bad behavior, since they think they have no control over what they do.
Determinism often postulates, hey, since the whole universe is controlled, and it's like a clockwork mechanism, but it's run by God, why bother trying to create any change? Change is impossible. It's already set in stone. Action, therefore, becomes ultimately meaningless. Why do anything? I tell religionists who think like this, why do you get out of bed in the morning? Why bother doing anything? Why say a word to another human being? Why eat? Why breathe? Why not just lay in a supine position in the corner somewhere and wait to expire from malnutrition and dehydration and then go back to dust? But, many people, they actually say that this is what they believe. It's a big hallmark of salvationist religiosity. Action is meaningless. Only faith is what's required.
I don't follow that. I don't know that word, I admit. But this section right there does make me think that's why the doomsday cults exist. Because, I mean, they just wait. Or the alien beam me up group. Right? This whole, it's got to be better somewhere else. Yes, because you want the cosmic illusion of choice, because somehow 15 different flavors of sugar water wasn't enough. Very frustrating.
Religiosity. Action is meaningless. Only faith is what's required. Something that I'm vehemently opposed to. You know, and the New Age takes this in, too. You know, they convert it in their own imbalanced way. You know, we're here just to observe. Don't get involved in anything. Just observe it, watch it, be the observer. Life's not a movie playing on a screen in front of your eyes, folks. You're active participants, whether you realize that or not. Again, this right brain imbalance and this whole worldview of determinism is the hallmark of religious extremism. The truth lies, as it always does, in the balance point, okay? In the synthesis, in the coming together between extremes in many cases.
The universe operates through two main parts: deterministic laws and free will. The deterministic component is called natural law, which includes unchangeable moral rules that govern the consequences of our actions. These laws are fixed and cannot be altered. They are the predictable part of how the universe works. The second part is free will, which allows intelligent beings like humans to make their own choices. Free will is something given to us by creation, and it can't be ignored. It works together with natural law, meaning our choices lead to specific results based on these fixed rules. Through the outcomes of our decisions, we learn and grow. So both deterministic laws and free will shape our experiences in life and help us understand the effects of our actions.
Another thing that dark occultists want to prevent people from understanding is how our reality is actually built. How we, together, in the aggregate, in aggregate numbers, meaning collectively as a species, co-create our reality that we are experiencing on the earth together as a people. You know, you hear this notion in the New Age movement, the law of attraction. You know, that a lot of the New Age people want people to believe we're individually creating our reality all by ourselves. Mark Passio does not create Mark Passio's reality entirely what I experience by myself, by how I think. Other people are involved in that process. It's a co-creative process. Okay, because if someone randomly does something violent to me, I did not create that experience. This is a total misunderstanding of the law of attraction, how the law of attraction works. All right, free will is involved. I can do something completely random. So can other people, because they have the capacity for free will behavior.
We do not create our individual realities solely based on our own. Instead, our collective reality as a society is shaped by the knowledge we take in.
To be fair, this really mixes with real life now, where you get the influencers, the peace influencers are a positive because they believe in nonviolence and peaceful resolution to issues, that they can go anywhere in the world and just walk around. And the unfortunate truth is they keep learning mortal lessons. And the chaos of existence exists. You know, like if you're not following, you don't create evil. And because you've had one dark thought doesn't mean you've attracted darkness to you. It also exists in its own timeline. And sometimes the odds are not in your favor, or are astronomically weighed against you, and you come up the big loser. I talk about this with Ange all the time. We're driving in the middle of nowhere. You're coming to like a narrow bridge. That's it. And then oddly enough, that's the exact time you and another car cross. You haven't seen a car for an hour, but you meet. on the narrow bridge. Well, the odds, the factors to let that happen are amazing. And I think we just brush it off. But you are offered up incredibly rare opportunities to have to deal with chaos and disorder. And it's your personal choices that get you through it. Y'all not paying attention on that narrow bridge, it becomes a tragedy in tomorrow's newspaper. If you're living in the moment, paying attention and applying care, you weather that storm no problem, even though the odds were against you.
Experience. This is a total misunderstanding of the law of attraction, how the law of attraction works. All right, free will is involved. I can do something completely random. So can other people, because they have the capacity for free will behavior.
We do not create our individual realities solely based on our own. Instead, our collective reality as a society is shaped by the knowledge we take in, how well we understand that knowledge, and how we act based on it. When a large number of people in society make decisions and behave in certain ways based on what they know, that determines how society as a whole creates its shared reality. Dark occultists who understand how this principle works aim to control this process. They try to influence or limit access to knowledge because controlling what people know and how they think allows them to control how society shapes its reality.
Well, definitely is going to take us 3 hours. I think we're going to wrap this up now because this also, what was just said there, ties to, let's just say, the list and why we're not allowed to learn truth, because it would shake up an entire system and you can't control it all by shaking it all up, right? You gotta think that that's a fruit-bearing tree. You're like, hey, we're giving you sustenance. Look the other way. Ignore those poison apples. They're not tainting the whole orchard. I mean, they are, but you have to look the other way.
To influence or limit access to knowledge because controlling what people know and how they think allows them to control how society shapes its reality. They want to steer people away from exploring deeper knowledge by distracting them or keeping them unaware of important truths. Two key spiritual currencies are time and attention. These are valuable resources because whatever you spend your time on or pay attention to will shape what you get in return. When you pay attention to something, you buy understanding or knowledge in exchange. So, by focusing on the right things, you gain insight and awareness, which helps you better understand the world around you.
Ooh, and we'll come back with this. Yeah, this is cool. Hopefully it goes up. Hopefully, now we got somewhere out there. I had a comment, someone talking about writing music of an esoteric nature, and I said put some links in. Hopefully they caught that and they dropped some links over here on the channel. I'm not. I think I directed them to Reaction Talk, but I don't actually go over there ever. That was a mistake of mine. But I do think links can get dropped in comments. I double check, but I thought they could still go in there. Yeah, I do it that way. Especially if you saw this, I drop it here because I want to check it out. And Monday is come and gone, and I didn't think I found it, but I'm also struggling with comments, so it is what it is. This is a good spot. Next Tuesday, I'll come back and I'll read I'll look in the comments of this one. Unfortunately, unlike reactions, this I really enjoy doing. I think the most amount of value comes from the last 44 minutes. It's all in there. You just got to wade through the crazy. But I'd say this is important stuff to soak in again and again and again. And again and again and again. All the way until I see you next time. Sometime later next Tuesday.